So today we're going to dig into this manifesto that asks a really wild question. How does something as simple as a corner store evolve, step by step, into an entirely new, livable reality? It's a journey that goes from convenience to consciousness. And believe it or not, it all starts with one tiny thought.
You know, every big idea has to start somewhere, right? And GoDa's origin story, well, it didn't begin with some grand plan to change humanity. Nope. It started right here, with this idea. The goal was just to create a place so familiar you could say, hey, let's go to GoDa. Simple as that.
And that, right there, that's the big question we're going to follow through this whole explainer. How on earth does a humble little shop morph into an interface for reality itself? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is in a chain of deceptively simple questions. Okay, so picture this. It all kicks off with something super simple, almost forgettable, just a corner store. The first concept for GoDa was totally ordinary, a place to grab a soda or a snack. But one little question was about to change absolutely everything. And this was the question that flipped the switch. It seems so obvious now, doesn't it? But this single thought, it challenged the most basic assumption of retail and set GoDa on a path to becoming something way more intelligent. So, that one question, it kicked off this whole new phase of automating convenience. But here's the thing, as we're about to find out, every step forward meant losing a little bit of that human connection. It started a chain reaction that didn't just remove the people, it eventually removed the entire store.
And the answer they came up with was the autonomous convenience hub. I mean, think about it. Inside, it's all action, lights on, shelves being stocked, but not by human hands. It was this quiet, tireless army of robots doing all the work. A total marvel of efficiency.
But of course, there's a catch, right? There's always a trade-off. GoDa gained this incredible, unprecedented efficiency, but it lost that simple human connection. The friendly face, the small talk. In solving one problem, they'd accidentally created a brand new one.
So that leads to the next logical question, If it's all robots in the back and nobody's actually walking the aisles, why are we pretending it's still a store? Do we even need shelves at all?
And what they came up with was the GoDa Lounge. This thing was less like a store and more like some cool, futuristic cafe. You'd just walk in and AI would know it's you, and robots would put your order together in the back while you just chilled out. It was totally seamless. And boom, another trade-off. See the pattern here? GoDa killed the checkout line and created total comfort. But in doing so, they also got rid of the joy of discovery, that simple pleasure of just browsing. So once again, fixing one problem just created the next one. So to get that feeling of discovery back, GoDa had to do something pretty radical. They went virtual. But the funny thing is, to build these amazing virtual worlds, they needed a ton of real-world stuff to make it all work. Okay, get ready for this, the VistaPod. Now, this is not your typical VR headset, okay? This was a full-on projection dome that gave you a real sense of being there. You could step inside and feel like you were actually walking through a spice market in Morocco. Shopping basically became teleportation. And wow, the VistaPod was a massive hit. Maybe a little too successful. Because people didn't just want to see things from all over the world anymore, they wanted to have them, like right now. This created a huge logistics nightmare, which GoDa solved with a new network built on 3 core systems. So here's how they cracked it, a 3-part system. First, GoDa Flow, where you just drive up and speak your order. Then, GoDa Rail, this crazy underground maglev network for shooting goods across the city. And finally, GoDa Go, a fleet of autonomous delivery bots. At this point, GoDa wasn't just a store anymore. It was basically the city's nervous system for logistics. Okay, so once you've built this incredible system that can perfectly simulate any shopping experience from anywhere on Earth, well, it leads to the biggest, most profound question yet. If we can do all that for stores, why stop there? Why not simulate reality itself? And that question, right there, that's the pivot point. This is where the story shifts from just shopping to actually being. The mission wasn't about delivering products anymore. It was about delivering presence. The pod was about to become a portal for pure human experience. To pull this off, the VistaPod had to transform into something else entirely, the Haptic Habitat. We're talking hydraulic legs to simulate gravity and movement, advanced climate control, and sensors to sync up everything. Touch, temperature, even scent and taste. It basically became this living, breathing vessel for experience. Yeah, this was way more than just a simulator.
With full-on life support for food, water, and even waste removal, it became a totally self-sustaining habitat. A simulated sunrise could actually feel warm on your skin. I mean, you could literally live inside this thing. And all of that brings us here to the final incredible idea, the first livable reality. It's amazing when you look back and see how each new invention was really just a solution to the problem that the last one created.
When you lay it out like this, it's pretty wild, right? You go from a simple store to the automated lounge to the virtual VistaPod and finally to the Haptic Habitat. Each step took us further away from the physical world, only to build a brand new one inside of a machine.
So what's the big takeaway here? GoDa stopped being a place you go to and became a state you can just inhabit. It's not a destination anymore. It's a dimension. It's a full-body interface between your mind and, well, matter itself.
But here's the coolest part. The story doesn't just end there with a cool piece of tech. It ends with an invitation. To you, the GoDa project is open source. It's a call to action for everyone, dreamers, engineers, artists, to help figure out what this technology should be and to make sure it helps us instead of replacing us.
It's just an incredible journey, isn't it? Starting with the simple goal for convenience and ending up as this quest to literally expand what it means to be conscious, building a bridge between our imagination and reality. Simply put, from convenience to consciousness.
And that's where the manifesto leaves us, right at the beginning, at version 0.1, the origin. It kind of leaves you with this one last, pretty mind-blowing thought. If this is just the start, what in the world does the next version of reality even look like?